later. That's Derek. So it says a 26-year-old man was killed after being shot on the Charm Circulator bus Wednesday afternoon. Police, that was last Wednesday. Okay, good. It wasn't Derek. He did that. His shooting was on Saturday. Police found the victim who had been shot in the stomach at 2:50 p.m. at the bus on the 200 block of South Broadway and Gulf Street.
So he was on
It is over east.
Yeah, it's the one that's coming from John Hopkins.
Police believe the suspect and victim argued, then got onto the bus. The bus was still stopped when the shooting occurred. The suspect wearing a black hoodie, black pants, black shoes, white soles. Matt. I know that was that mastermind down there. Somebody go look for mastermind. Hello?
At that point, it's time to go for a break.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. only on
listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
And we have a full house tonight. My co-host Leslie Swirl and Miss Lasha G, y'all already know.
Hey.
Mr. Tony Bling, y'all already know. But I have with me Mr. Paul Jackson.
Yes, ma'am.
And my brother, Mr. Kevin Little here.
Well, all right.
So I'm quite sure this is going to be a hot topic. I'm very excited about today's show. And I'm also excited because for the first time, the men outnumber the women.
That is true. Wow, I didn't even notice that.
Finally. Because that took some... This is the first time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was like, wait a minute, maybe I messed up. Finally, the men outnumber the women. And I really wanted that. More so for all of the shows for the month, but definitely for this show. And then we got our producer and our engineer, so we got a lot of testosterone in here today. We might gotta pull it up, but that's all right because we strong. We strong
with a C.
With a strong. Yes.
Strong.
I mean, how you pronounce it?
Strong.
There you go. So
last time on Talk Lately.
Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Starts now. And welcome to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live on BeExposedRadio.com. I'm a little off right now. I am your host, Nate. I am here on this Friday evening. I'm a little rushed today. I was trying to do a lot of things, play catch up and get stuff done. On today's show, I am happy to have Miss Love Dawn of Be Exposed's Sunset Soul and a really good friend of mine from church, actually, Miss Cheryl. She's joining us today. Pastor Cheryl, I'm sorry. Pastor Cheryl. She's a pastor now. But I'm very happy to have both of them on there. Today's topic is leadership. So her story, Leadership Edition. Both of these young women exude leadership and strength and so on and so forth. And they're going to go through who they are and what they do. But they'll be here in the next couple segments. But this first segment, I'm just going to go over some stuff. First of all, this weekend it's a lot going on. First of all, Baltimore Fashion Week starts tonight at the Columbus Center. So I believe there's still available tickets left. If you want to, so tomorrow I'll be there, and it is what it is Tamika Nicole of Style Lounge will be showcasing her collection, so definitely come on out for that. And I'll be sitting front row, and if you want to sit front row, we have a couple tickets left. Actually, I think we have about 4 left, so if you want to come out and join the Artist Exchange on our little section of the front row, tickets are just $84. Hit me up tonight immediately, so definitely do that. And first of all, shout out to a team, to having a team. You know, it makes things run smoothly. Teamwork makes the dream work. So shout out to my entire team, Miss Kara Smoot, Miss Bryn, Mr. Oh my God, names is rushing out my head right now. What's his name? I can't remember his name. Eric, that's his name. There we go. Teamwork makes the dream work. And then my co-hosts, they aren't here today. So Zakia, I'm pointing to the chair like this is where she said. Zakia will be joining us the next couple Saturdays, and then starting in September, she'll be here each day. Like I said, Mr. Hollywood had a death, a really close death in his family. So we're getting them prepared and getting them back together. He's getting, his bearings together. He'll be joining us shortly as well. So definitely look out for him. September is coming up. Well, I'm going to keep doing with this weekend. So not only is Fashion Week tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday at the Columbus Center. So you'll find more information if you go to fashionumbrella.org. or .com. Definitely hit them up. There are still tickets available. Like I said, if the Artist Exchange has a little section on the premium front row, and it comes with, you get to get in there early, so you get to get your seat first. It comes with a phenomenal swag bag full of gifts, and I've seen a couple of gifts, so come on. And as well as is a catered event for the premium front row seats. So you definitely get to come in there. You get to come in there 2 hours early. There'll be vendors there. So you get to shop. You get to meet all of the runway participants. As far as the designers, you get to meet all the designers for Saturday. And then tomorrow there's a special sneakerheads edition. So if you're a sneakerhead, come on out. We have about 4 tickets. I think it's 4 tickets left. They're just $84. It's premium front row, so you get an awesome swag bag. It's catered. Open bar, mind you. Open bar. I don't drink, so you can have all of my drinks and your drinks. Open bar, $84, and there's a couple more surprises. So if you want to come on out, swag bags, premium front row, $84. Hit me up. I have a couple tickets. Well, you can actually go to their app, Fashion Umbrella, Baltimore Fashion Week. They have an app, or you can go to their website, baltimorefashionweek.com or fashionumbrella.org, and you're definitely able. All you have to do when you go to get your tickets for tomorrow only, not for tonight, not for Sunday, only for tomorrow, you're able to use the Artist Exchange. If you type in the Artist Exchange, you get the special discount, and your tickets are only $84. So definitely come on out, come out and support Phenomenal. This is actually their 10th anniversary, so special anniversary gift for the front row premium individuals. Hit us up. Come on. So Baltimore Fashion Week. Next up, Miss Be Inspired, Naomi Burrell. Her and her co-writers, they're actually doing their book signing, one of their book signings here tomorrow during our show. So come on out to that 110 East Lexington Street. Come buy the book and get it signed, talk to the authors, mingle, socialize. There'll be some light dessert hors d'oeuvres here. That's 110 East Lexington Street. And we'll be actually interviewing Naomi and I believe a couple of her co-authors tomorrow at 12 o'clock. So definitely stay tuned, stay locked in for that tomorrow. Tomorrow is also TJ Transvision of artistvisions.com. Come on out is that the second Saturday of every month. TJ hosts. He becomes the guest host for that day. So come on out. We have 3 phenomenal visual artists that are going to talk about who they are, what they do. Stay tuned. Stay locked in for that. Also tomorrow, AirFram has been revamped and condensed into one day. Mayor Pugh has been promoting this like crazy. So come on out. Definitely enjoy AirFram. It is our thing, and it will be in Drew Hill Park, so definitely look out for that tomorrow. I believe it starts at like 10-ish or 11. Don't quote me. Go to the city website and you'll be able to, or Catherine Pugh's Facebook page, and you'll be able to see it. the Airframe, and I believe they have their own Facebook page as well. What else is tomorrow? There are a number of things going on tomorrow, and I really don't think I have time to do everything. There's a youth, YEW, Youth Entrepreneurial Workers. They have a fair going on tomorrow too, and I have that posted on the Artist Exchange page, so if you go to that page you'll be able to see it. I don't know what time it is, so I think I'm just rambling at this point. Phenomenal show. We're going to talk with two phenomenal young ladies today and get their insight on leadership and a number of other things. I just read Love Dawn of Sunset Souls here on Be Exposed. She comes on every Thursday, 8 to 10 p.m. I just read her book, Nivea. And if you're an actor looking to do a mini-series, or if you have any information, if you're a videographer looking to do your first mini-series, definitely hit us up, because that book is definitely written in the same vein as, like, I would say Color Purple. Like, Color Purple, it was kind of boring as a book, but when you saw it as a movie, when you saw it as a play, it came to life. And this book is written definitely in that vein, where it would be very interesting to see it on a web series format, like Insecure-ish. So definitely stay tuned for that. We'll talk more about the book when that comes up. For the Artist Exchange, if you're looking for a creative outlet to promote your business, brand, your service, your upcoming events, definitely hit us up. The Artist Exchange Radio Show at gmail.com. We have very affordable packages and rates to help you promote and push what it is that you're selling, your brand, your business, your services. And for a special, for our anniversary, which is September the 5th, but we're celebrating on September the 9th, we're giving away t-shirts with all of our sponsorship packages. So definitely hit us up. We want to help you promote your business in a very cost-effective way. Come out, support Be Exposed Radio. And speaking of Be Exposed Radio, if you are a personality, if you have a personality, if you have a radio show and you're looking for a new home, or if you always wanted to do a radio show or bring back a radio show you had back in the day, hit us up. We have a platform. We have a time slot available for you. So hit us up, info@beexposedradio.com, or you can hit me up directly, Nate, at 443-839-0118, and I can meet with you and we can get the ball rolling. We have a couple shows coming in September. We had a new show starting this month, Black by Demand. He comes on Mondays at 12 p.m. So definitely stay locked in, stay tuned for that. Phenomenal show. He deals with black business, the pros, the cons, how to help them, how to promote them, all that jazz. Blackbydemand.com. If you at the commercial, you'll see his ad go up. So go to his website, hit him up on Facebook, like his radio show page, Black by Demand, and it has Black by BUY Demand radio show on Facebook. Definitely like his page, like our page. If you're watching us right now on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, definitely share us out. Invite all your friends to come see us. This platform is dedicated to artists, artists that just artists in general. There are no color boundaries. There's no limitations on what your artistry should be or could be to come on this show. Also, community leaders and entrepreneurs all in the same. So we interview you, we help promote your business, and we go a step further. We have a lot of services and abilities that we can help you promote and market and just network with other artists your way. Starting in September, the Artist Exchange event will be coming back. And it won't be every month. It'll be every quarter. So we'll have at least 3 to 4 every year. And that's a big networking opportunity for artists to be able to showcase their work, their talents, what they do, all that jazz. And we'll be starting the first one the last week of September. Lastly, but certainly not least, on September the 9th, we'll be celebrating our 3rd year here on BeExposedRadio.com. We'll be bringing back a lot of our past guests from the 3 years that we've been here. So definitely stay locked in for that. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Yeah, this the man that holds it down, Mr. Showtime, D the Boss. Check us out every Saturday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
I'm in a relationship. My girl happens to be long distance. So with that being said,
I beat my thing like it owes me money.
Sorry.
Because I asked that because so many people are not comfortable.
Here's my thing. It's mine.
That's right.
And you need to know yourself before you can have somebody please. If you can't tell nobody how to please you, if you don't know how to please yourself.
That's right.
You know what you like. You know what you like. You know the stroke. All that. So you're right. And I mean, you shouldn't be ashamed of it. It's your body. Yeah, I'm over here struggling with the ear.
Yeah, I'm glad it's you today. I'm glad you today, brother.
Oh, this thing going to drop. It's going to drop about at least like 5 times.
I'm over there struggling.
So ED, do you have a problem with masturbating?
No, I don't. I don't masturbate often because I have a fear of going blind. So yes. When I found
you could go blind from
I read about it. Is that true?
No,
it's not true.
It's not.
Okay.
Because I was gonna say I should have been blind a long time ago.
Let me drop some knowledge on you real quick.
I was just playing.
But
Hey, what's up, good people? It's the man you all know and love, E Digger. Make sure you check us out every Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Thank you for tuning in to BeExposedRadio.com. Sit back, relax, and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
What does hustle hard mean to you? What does that signify in your life?
That's a lifestyle for me. You know what I mean? Like, true story. I was born into a family and a community of hustlers. Now, let's get focused right quick, because when people hear the word hustler, they confuse it with con artist or something negative. So they like to call people entrepreneurs, right? But the definition, and I'm paraphrasing, but the definition of hustle is forced movement or to be hurried, right? But we're not talking about just pushing other people. Sometimes you got to push yourself, and that what makes you a hustler. True story. So the thing about it is, like, when it comes to hustling, listen, quick story. I used to go buy juleps a lot, right? And my grandmother used to make me clean the yard, shovel snow, do things like that to go get a julep. But one day she was like, look, you putting all your money in someone else's pocket. Word. Save those quarters, and I can teach you how to make a formula, and you can sell your own juleps. You understand? So the next couple weeks, I saved my money.
Always a hustler.
Listen,
got to love
but think
everybody
about
got
this.
a grandma's story like that.
Grandmothers are the natural hustlers because they were the ones who maintained and sustained our families through epidemics. You're talking Big Mama went through slavery and held it. You're talking Big Mama went through the Depression and held it. Big Mama went through crack and held it and still maintains it today. So if you don't think you come from a hustler, then you don't know where you come from. You understand?
That's so real.
I began to sell juleps, and ever since then, I capture a hustle. And a hustle is not a swindle. It's not a sneaky thing. It's up front. You're providing a need. You understand? So you're the bridge. If you're a true hustler, you're trying to be the bridge. If somebody's on one side and they need to get the other, you're trying to be the bridge, fill in the gap. So hustling is a lifestyle. It's not something you can do 10 minutes out the day. It has to be something you live.
Word.
Hey, what's up? This is Nate, host of the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Tune in every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live, here live on BeExposedRadio.com.
Ladies, are you in need of the best quality hair extensions, a cute outfit, or that perfect pair of shades? Pink Ice Products can cover you from head to toe, from flawless weaves to apparel. Visit us online at pinkiceproducts.bigcartel.com. We're located at 3000 Old Alabama Road, 119-303, Alpharetta, Georgia. Or give us a call at 470-488-6484. Come on in and check out Pink Ice Products today.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
You need to see it happening. To read it, your mind is like, okay, let me just finish reading this so I can imagine this thing going on. Like, you see episodes as you read more of it. Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BigExposedRadio.com. Joining me in the building, I have Pastor Cheryl Weems. I'm not used to Weems, so am I saying it right? Weems. She's joining me today. I've been trying to get her for 3 years, and she finally came on the show, but it's all in good timing. And I also have of Sunset Soul, Miss Love Dawn.
How y'all doing?
How you doing? Author, songstress, Love Dawn. Now maybe we can get music going because I have 2 singers in the building today.
Yep. Mike?
Move over some. No, the other way.
Okay.
The other way. So first of all, Cheryl, let us know who you are. Okay. Tell us what you do. I said pastor, but that's not all that you do.
All right, so my name is Cheryl Weems. Do I need to adjust? Thank you so much. My name is Cheryl Weems, Pastor Cheryl. Right now, as you so affectionately said, Nate and I go way back to Evergreen AME Church, so it's been a while that we've had an opportunity.
They didn't let me on the choir.
I understand.
Listen, it's a new day, Nate. You can come to my church and be on the choir, okay?
Yes,
I'll let them know they need to come down and see this.
Background only.
That's right. I love it. So I have the amazing opportunity right now to serve a church in Richmond, Virginia, full of millennials. And so something that's so unique, because typically you don't have a large millennial group in churches. So we are a unique place on the planet, and we are focusing on purpose, and it's been an amazing 1.5 years so far.
Wow. Yes. So the church is new, though.
The church has been around, yes, for about, this is the actually the 7th year. Isn't that amazing?
Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
So I have the opportunity to take it from its year of completion, as you would say,
wow,
on into the next few years. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So it's exciting.
Awesome. I'm enjoying that. We got to hear more. Miss Love Dawn.
Yes, how y'all doing? I'm Love Dawn from Sunset Soul. I'm here promoting my new book, Nivea. I started this book with my children. I've said several times before, they were having issues with reading comprehension. So the schools would send home dittos for them to work on. And it would be just a random story, and they had to answer the questions about the story. And I think that the biggest issue was they were not interested. So because the work wasn't graded, I asked the teachers, instead of us reading a story, could we put one together, and that way their interpretation and their understanding would be much more detailed for one, and I could see how they understood the work better because we did it. We developed the story together. So it started from then. It was a very fun exercise, but as children do, they kind of started to veer away because I got so in depth in the story that then it became my project, as us parents tend to do, and it became one of my children, just like they were. And that's where Nivea was born. My children had the opportunity to develop their character. But then I began to think, I've ran a summer camp for many years, and same as you, I've been a youth leader at the church for many years. I was like, why can't we find something that I can write and I can entertain as well as inform them in a way that they don't feel as though they're being taught, you know. So that's kind of how the story began to develop in that way. And I also wanted to reach another demographic, because the biggest issue with us in churches, we tend to teach our own, which is great, but like then they get it and then we're kind of just regurgitating information over and over and over again. It's like we need to step outside of the norm. So this book I intended to write in an ambiguous way so that I can give this book to any child, any parent, any person, and they can read it, and they'll read it their own way. They'll interpret their own way. But I can still sneak information in, regardless of what. As we were talking about, it could be a superhero, but we know, or those who are of a Christian faith, or have any sort of higher power faith, can see this as an impartation of a higher power of that person. It's not a physical media that hit this lady and now she has all these powers doing these things. There was no physical man-made drug that gave her these powers. It was actually something that she already had within her that was developed. She was called for this life, but she needed a source to help her on this journey. So this is kind of how it went, and it highlights, if nothing else, first of all, a strong female lead character, as well as a single mother. I think that alone is a superwoman. Right. So I wanted to give her her props, and that's what I did with
It was just a lot of surprises in the book, like one after another. So I definitely enjoyed it. Real quick, because this is a short segment, can we hear where we can find you both on social media, or how people can contact you and your services and so on and so forth?
Well, you can go to my page, lovedawnentertainment.com, or you can go to Love Dawn Entertainment on Facebook, and I am at love_dawn725 on Instagram. As I said, I have a show here, Sunset Soul, so you can always tune into my show. You'll hear me say that again and again and again.
I'll charge it every time.
You can contact me. Listen, you will find me. Trust me, you will be able to find me. I'm somewhere.
I love it. I love it. And so you can follow us on our social media platforms. I'll start with the church first. So the church, Richmond on Facebook as well as Instagram. And feel free to connect with me on Facebook at Cheryl Weems and on Instagram, Cheryl S. Weems. And I'd love to connect with you.
There we go. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. If you're on Facebook, go to our Facebook page at the Artist Exchange Radio Show, or at Be Exposed Radio Facebook page, and you can click on our live, and you can add all your friends, your family, your Uncle Buck, all that. Join us. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to BeExposedRadio.com. Sit back, relax, and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
What does hustle hard mean to you? What does that signify in your life?
That's a lifestyle for me. You know what I mean? Like, true story, I was born into a family in a community of hustlers. Now, let's get focused right quick, because when people hear the word hustler, they confuse it with con artist or something negative. So they like to call people entrepreneurs, right? But the definition, and I'm paraphrasing, but the definition of hustle is forced movement, or to be hurried, right? But we're not talking about just pushing other people. Sometimes you got to push yourself, and that what makes you a hustler. True story. So the thing about it is, like, when it comes to hustling, listen, quick story. I used to go buy juleps a lot, right? And my grandmother used to make me clean the yard, shovel snow, do things like that to go get a julep. But one day she was like, look, you putting all your money in someone else's pocket. Word. Save those quarters, and I can teach you how to make a formula, and you can sell your own juleps. You understand? So the next couple weeks, I saved my money.
Always a hustler.
Listen,
got to love
but think
everybody
about
got
this.
a grandma story like that.
Grandmothers are the natural hustlers, because they were the ones who maintained and sustained our families through epidemics. You're talking, Big Mama went through slavery and held it.
Man, it is what it is. Man, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is.
This Fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop King. Check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio at 9/11.
Coming to y'all soon.
I said he's dead.
Oh, 6 years after he passed away.
It states she reportedly had heard rumors, but nothing substantial. But then you put the rumors to
while
death.
They were still married.
You sentenced the rumors to death.
While they still were married, she heard rumors.
Right.
Okay.
Or probably all her life she's heard rumors. Like, you're dating you're dating your dad, right? I look just alike. I'm like, girl, somebody told me you dating your father. That's what kind of thing. He gay, right, Percy?
Please, why are you laughing at him? Don't laugh at him. Please don't.
Okay, let me continue with the story.
Oh,
man. Even today, it's still funny. Oh my gosh, if you haven't heard this show, it's Talk Lately, and it's only on BeExposedRadio.com every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and on YouTube. Just go to
Hey everybody, check out what you missed on the one and only Be Inspired Radio Show. Now here's one little speech I'm going to give you before I get into the next article. Here's what I want to tell you. Still, fear is big business. Fear is big business. I'm not telling you not to be alarmed by what you're seeing. I'm not telling you not to be concerned. What I'm am saying is not to buy into the notion that we should be afraid. You should be informed. You should be aware. You should start educating yourself about some things. I don't have the solutions. I don't have the answer. I wish I could say that if you did X, Y, and Z, you might not get shot by the police. I wish I could tell you that, but I can't. But what I can say is just start making...
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
I know she getting ready to go. No, I'm not. He's just talking to me. That's all.
So this first subject, we just topic this faith, this building on that, and then we'll build from that point on. Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. Let me just say, I gained about 30 pounds over the summer because I discovered what Uber Eats was. And I did this program that Uber was like a sponsor of it, and I had a bunch of Uber rides. So I was doing Uber and doing Uber Eats, and I gained about 30 pounds this summer. And so I'm fasting, and I think I'm over the attitude phase. But it's still there, still remnants of it there. So I'm being overly happy today because I'm getting out of the attitude phase, which was tough.
That with you.
Yeah, please pray for me, please. It's hard, it really is. So this segment, we're going to start with faith and talk about where these ladies' faith lie. What is their foundation? So what is the foundation of your faith? Cheryl?
Okay, so the foundation of my faith is solely rooted in a relationship with Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily a relationship with the church.
Right.
Although
the building.
Yes, the building, right? But the relationship that makes me the church.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't even know if I've ever shared this with you before. So I lived behind Mount Calvary AME Church, and around 4 or 5 years of age, I loved hearing the music.
Oh, wow.
And so my mother would get me dressed, and I would literally walk around the corner and attend church.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I've had a love affair with a relationship with God from the age of 4. And so it is something that is as part of me as a woman, mm-hmm. as the texture of my hair, as the color of my skin. And it's been an amazing journey, that intimate, personal space with me and God. And I don't know what life would be like without that.
It was hard. I think it was hard building that as an adult because we had religion or church, but it ebbed and flowed depending on where my mother was in her life. And as an adult, it was very hard to stick to it. Because you develop your own mindset and your own rules to life, and it's very hard to then be in somebody else's body or somebody else's building or space and then follow their way, or especially when somebody's telling you what to do opposed to guiding you. So it's very difficult. Miss Love Dawn?
I think the same thing. That's my piggyback with what you're saying. I can say now, with removing myself from the church for a certain period of time, mm-hmm. that I can agree with this wholeheartedly. Mm-hmm. Like, I would have agreed with what you said while being in church, but it would have been more of the thing that I knew to say. Wow. Yeah. That the relationship with Christ is where my faith lies. I know to say that. This is what I was taught. But removing myself from anybody at the moment or any church at the moment and developing that relationship now, mm-hmm. I can see it and say this and mean it more now with mm-hmm. not being attached. Because we get clouded when we're attached. And this is nothing wrong with being attached. Mm-hmm. For me, that overshadowed the relationship. The being a part
Personal
of the church. Right, overshadowed the relationship between me and God. Between me and God, Jesus, how, it kind of, that became more important mm-hmm. than the true relationship. My responsibility in the church became more important. Duties, what I know or I'm taught to do, those things, because you're reading one thing and then you're being told something and you're going to go with what you're being told to do out of obedience, because that word began to overshadow the what you knew, what you're reading in the word to do. So when I remove myself from a church, now I can say that and be like, I actually mean my faith lies with my relationship with God, because there's nobody that's going to taint that. my relationship.
Well, since you took it there,
I'm not. See,
no, I'm just saying because I was trying not to go there because then I didn't want to share too much of my personal self. But when you start speaking on that behave, I remember doing a leadership workshop with Cheryl, and it gave us what your job is in the church. And I think without talking about that specific leadership, I think some people realize I am doing the wrong thing, and this is why we're having the issues that we're having, because you're in the wrong space. And when you start listening to individuals and the written word becomes secondary to what somebody physically is saying to you, that's when there becomes a distraction and a distance that you develop. And I can say for myself that happened, and then that idea of being church hurt happened because you think everybody thinks when you go to church everybody there is fine, and you realize they are just as broken as the people you just left from, or you're coming in. They're just as broken as you are coming into that. So how did that experience, because both of you were technically raised in the church, how did that differ for you, or what was your perspective on that? Did you see that happen to people, or did it happen to you?
Yeah, so I can share. I've definitely experienced what would be considered church hurt, and I've seen the impact of churches maybe falling apart. I've seen the impact of human issues moving through the congregation. I've seen a lot of that. I've experienced it myself personally. But the number one thing that causes church hurt to be real is a lack of appropriate relationships. And I think that is between man and God, and also amongst one another. And so I think that as the church, as we strengthen our ability to have or to set the goal or the mandate as this relationship between man and God here, and then that as a result of that requirement, that level of intention around making sure people connect with God for real, then the relationships start to look different, because the alignment is right.
Because I'm no longer managing you, I'm helping to guide you. And that's, I swear, it took me, I was probably almost 30 before I got that. And you get really bombarded with, well, I'm listening to this person because they telling me what to do, and they've been here, so they got it. But it just didn't feel right. You felt like you were being pulled or pushed, and not like it should be easy. Once I got it, it was easy, because I didn't even see people. I really didn't even see them. It was just, I heard it wasn't even the person that was speaking, the pastor. I couldn't even see them. I began to really just listen to what was going on. And I sit in the back and I just listened. And that became much more comfortable to me than trying to do something, because then it becomes about your duty or the ritual that's going on than you actually having a saved heart and a saved mind and a saved spirit. And all that didn't connect. I wish there was a manual written that could say that this is what is supposed to happen, but we don't get that until you are already hurt into it.
And that definitely is a lot of people's experience. I think that a lot of times church is personality driven. And so as a leader, and I know we're going to talk about leadership, but as a leader, I think it's important for us as leaders to always point the people to God. And to make sure that you're transparent enough to say that I'm human just like you, and I'm pursuing purpose just like you, and it may not be perfect, but let's pursue this perfect God together.
Wow. I love that.
So I try to be careful with the things that I say.
Be honest.
I have no problem with being honest, but I do have to be careful, because to have a conversation with people who were raised in church is one understanding, and you're going to interpret it the way that you say, but that you're going to still go to church Sunday. So I have to be careful with this type of platform, because I don't want to make the church discouraged. But I know how I speak, so I do want to make sure that but the reason why I'm saying this is because I think church hurt is an understatement. I'm just going to say that. I think that we say church hurt now because it's the normal thing to say. I think church hurt has been the words that we use for generation. At this point, we are past hurt. We are at flat out torment to murder, because you're killing people spirit. You know, you're people are you're literally spilling blood, especially coming to a church, and these are people who have not had any church background or history. They don't have the understanding. They can't look past you because they're learning to develop a relationship with God, and then you bruise them, hurt them, torment them, murder. Now you hear, I'm done. They didn't even get a chance to really experience God properly. You know, they're just learning Him, and now you already, you know. So I think we're past that in this generation now. It's, you know, we are. You want us to, as you say, you're telling us what to do. You're leading us, which means we're now in a vulnerable space, and I think that's why it's beyond hurt, because our bodies, when somebody go to hit you, you can tense, you can defend yourself a little bit, you know, you can block, you can whatever, you know, you have your white cells that come in immediately and help to mend that wound. But in church, you're so open, you're so vulnerable. So when you are damaged in that atmosphere, that's no longer hurt. I mean, I think that's past. That's not a boo-boo. You know, and that's what bothers me, and this is my fight right now, and maybe this
internally, or
this is my internal fight right now, because of like I said, my last church dissolved, and it's an unnecessary mess. Unnecessary, you know. So, and I loved where I was, and I still love the people there, you know. So that's what makes this hurt most. And now I'm battling with where to go. The thing with me is I have a foundation, and that's unfair for the ones who don't. Is what I'm saying. So now my pain I'm carrying is with people. They don't really, you know. I'm looking at them. I know I have options. Been around church people all my life, so I can go anywhere and be fine. But I'm looking at so many people who aren't fine that I don't even feel right going somewhere else. It's like I wanted to stay in limbo with y'all. You know, you know. I
was just gonna say, I think that one of the things that, I mean, and this is hard to digest, but the same God that drew them will be the same God that raises up people like you, people like Nate, someone in the grocery store. They'll look at a billboard, something. God is a speaking God. He's a healing God. He's a restoring God. And so I am. Now, listen, not saying or not excusing anything that took place to cause, not excusing or dismissing the trauma of what people experience, but the same God that drew them the first time will raise up people to connect them. God is a drawing God. We can't even get saved without Him drawing us to Himself. And so I believe that because there is a plan and a purpose for whomever's life was in that church, that God is going to connect them, is going to reach them, to get them to a place where they're able to be ministered to, reconnect, you know, and not excusing it, but God is big enough to clean up man's failures.
So in a church full of millennials who have, in many cases, some of them were raised, probably a lot of them were raised in it, or a lot of them came to it because a friend brought them, or like you said, a lot of them were at the school where the church probably started. And how do you get the ones who are hesitant, that are kind of skeptic, that are those bedside Baptist members and proud of it? How do you get them to get to a point where they're open themselves up again? And because you have to be completely open to be able to receive whatever is meant for you to get.
We do. We build a community. And so the teaching that's there, it is practical. Bible-based, it's strategies, it's we have a prophetic house, so God is going to, whatever word is being released is going to meet them where they are. And that's regardless of whether it's 20 people or 100 people sitting in the congregation. And so we built a sense of community. So not only are they encountering God through me as their pastor, they're encountering God through the people that they're sitting with in the pews as soon as they walk in the door. And so when you have a sense of community, people want to connect with that. And so I think the first thing is that sense of community. The second thing is that it's not a lot of fluff where we are. It's praise and worship. We do prophetic painting. So we open the service with intercession and prophetic painting. We then move into praise and worship. We have a meet and greet. And then it's the word. And so a lot of things that are traditionally known, like the Decalogue, all of that. And please, I have A&B through and through, right? But we have replaced some of those traditions of men with an encounter with God. And if people can encounter God and encounter you in a genuine way, it opens them up to be able to receive and connect the way that they need to.
And there's not anything wrong with replacing something, because you're not leaving anything behind. You're just changing the ritual of how you're doing it, because people get too caught up in the ritual. So if you don't fold that crease this way, we got to start over, we got to do that again, or people just disjointed. That feels so much better. I remember the church that we shared. I came to that church because of my artistry. In the next segment, we'll get to that, how you balance those things. But I came there because of my artistry, and I didn't have any plans on staying. I really didn't. I just was doing my friend Brandy a favor, and I remember, I remember Pastor was working at my college at the time, Pastor Travis, and she was encouraging us to come, and I was like, no. I was about 22, 23, no, I'm good, thank you though, I appreciate it. And I remember meeting Tamina, and she said to me, she was like, you know, you're not going to get the leadership here like you probably got somewhere else, because if the pastor, if you tell the pastor you want to jump tables, she's going to go find you a table and give you your first table to start jumping. And everybody around me laughed, but I took heed to that because I never got that before. And the person that I met on campus, I was like, that can't be the same person that I'm going to get in the sanctuary. And when I did get that, it was amazing. But I came there thinking that everybody in that body was perfect, and they were healed and they were fixed. And I got a rude awakening. And it's not anything wrong that they weren't, but I came there with a assumption that most of us outside of the church have. Everybody in there is fixed.
Not so.
It ain't for me. But that really, it always amazes me. How do you get to that point? Because I couldn't tell you how I got to that point. You know, and I walked down the aisle many of times without my right mind, not knowing how I got to the end of that. And that was a short little walk, but I got to the end of it not realizing how I got there. But a lot of us don't know what are the steps. So in the next segment, we'll talk about some of those steps. So we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. Don't go anywhere.
I had got drunk one night. This is the night that I put my head through the window and everything. So.
Why would you do that?
Now, I was sitting on the floor.
All these stories always involve alcohol.
They do. I was sitting on the floor, and my drink of choice back then was vodka and orange juice. Ooh, it's still my drink of choice, but I don't drink it as much.
I was a 151 kid, straight up.
I love vodka, especially when it was...
that rubbing alcohol.
You know.
What brand?
I love back then I was hooked on Absolute.
That was the best at the time.
And Pinnacle was like number 2 and stuff like that.
Because they didn't have what's the new one that came out? Yeah, what was the new one?
Ciroc, vodka, and
no, the other one. Who is real smooth? New Amsterdam.
Grey and
New Amsterdam came out, and it was so...
And Grey Goose. Grey Goose was out at that time, too.
See, I didn't drink... I told you, 151. That was my...
Yeah, Grey Goose vodka was one of the ones, because I loved the bottle. Because you can light it on fire. The bottle was hot. It was that shaded, that shaved glass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So... I was sitting on the floor, and we was talking about something. I don't even remember what we were talking about. All I know is I was bust out laughing. I got ching, ling, 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 glass everywhere. I wouldn't cut it all, though. I had to go.
Because you had your bun.
Actually, I didn't. I ain't have any hair back then.
Oh.
I don't remember. I don't think I did.
And you ain't cut your hair?
Nope. I was just fine. I was like, oh, your glass broke, and it was winter, dead of winter.
Check more of these funny moments out when you tune into Be Exposed Radio.
Check out this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
If you had a dream venue, where would that be? Like, some people want to do Carnegie Hall or like a big stadium somewhere.
I want to go with Madison Square. I wanna feel that building.
So you just gonna shoot for the moon.
I want to feel it. I want to look out and just feel the vibration of all of those people there to be uplifted and all of that, because that's what I want to do for people.
So are you dancing? Are you...
I want to implement that. I think I want to start doing some blocking. Like, not like tear it up. But just like a
little 1-2.
Hell, a little, not voguing, but kind of the essence of it. Very cozy and, hit the mark. Yeah, Yeah, we're not trying to like bust out sweats.
So that's mean you don't have the dance gene and you.
Oh, I can dance.
Okay,
that's
not what I was
doing. I can dance, but I'm not, trying to give that. That's not my lane. I want to keep it really kind of a retro feel with like the new school with a retro feel. Like
okay. Little Banji Soul.
Yeah.
People gonna start using that.
Right. And they should.
Little Banji Soul. Yeah. But just mark it so people know, like this was mine.
This where it came from. Because people was queens out here now that was princesses last week. They was princesses before my album dropped. Now they queen or something. Like, pinky up.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
How do you balance that? Because you have to leave something behind and you have to pull something, get something to go ahead a little bit. So what are those parts of you that you had to leave behind? And what are those parts of you that you took with you as tools to be able to get you to that? So welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. This is a different conversation that we normally have with artists and individuals. And these are our two artists that are sitting in front of me. They have two phenomenal voices. I heard your song, so
You gonna sing for us tonight?
We gonna have praise and worship in both of these individuals. Cheryl trying to get out of it.
I'm passing the mic.
But my question for this segment is the balance of your passion. You being an author, into music, a personality. You being a pastor, a singer, so on and so forth, a leadership guru, if you will. How do you bring those passions, those tools into your ministry? How are they utilized? Or do you separate them, or was that a fight in the beginning?
Well, for me, I brought my passion in. Well, let me change that. I had to utilize my passion. I told you that I was brought up in my grandmother's church, so I had to have a job. Everybody has a job. So,
what is your ministry?
Right, you got to find something. Now, as far as the singing part, that kind of comes just with the territory because everybody. I can't see you when it's like
you
that.
You can see me. I can see you.
I can't see you. And I have vertigo and it's in my face. But singing, everybody's sung in the choir.
Okay.
So, and then you want to lead. So that was the introduction, should I say, to the spotlight, if you want to call it that. But then I wrote. So that was my platform. Anything that I did had to be done there because I didn't go anywhere else. We were only at church. So, and then that was where the people were. So if I want a play to be performed, it's going to be in church. If I wanted a skit to be done, it's going to be in church. So there was no options for me when it came down to that. The one thing I can say when I did develop an option that I had to leave behind, it's kind of crazy because I kind of use it in both. I had to leave fear behind. Church is the beginning of do it afraid. Like, you're going to do this. You do know that. So you just got to get over it. And that's what I was told. Do it scared. Nobody's saying you're not going to be scared. I said, do it scared. That's just what it is. So the fear is what I had to leave. But then the fear is what also brought the humility to let you know yes, you're supposed to think that you're the best, but don't get too big-headed because there's always going to be somebody that can hit the note higher than you. So it kind of went, I guess, the balance of the needed fear to keep me grounded, but not so much fear that I could not do what I was supposed to do. So
that's good.
Sure.
I think that it's a big deal coming from where you are into, I guess you can say, purpose in the church. I believe that it starts even before you were in your mother's womb, like Jeremiah says, that God had a plan, set you apart for a purpose. I believe that the things that we are doing before we come to Christ, that there's some type of indication of why he's wired us the way that he's wired us. And I don't believe that you have to leave behind your artistry. I don't believe that you have to leave behind your talents and gifts. I believe that once you come into that relationship with Christ, you submit them to him. And in that moment, you lose your agenda. So if you're leaving anything, it's your agenda. Well, let me not say you have to lose it, but you submit it to him. And so, God, these are my plans. And Proverbs tells us that the man's heart plans his ways, but the Lord directs his steps. And so you submit those things to God. And I believe that as the anointing becomes prevalent in your life, that there's a supernatural, just like your you're a character, that there's a supernatural component to what you were naturally wired, that the natural gifts and talents.
Right.
Can I piggyback on that? Because especially being the millennials, we think that for whatever reason, even if you tell us that we're not supposed to bring who we were into the church, because they always say, I got to get right before I go to church, which is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. But that's what we say. But everything that happened.
But you're saying that as somebody who's already been in the church.
In church. But I'm talking about those who are coming to church.
You feel like
they got to get their self.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that has happened to you in life, everything that you went through, everything that you have, first of all, was God given. So it was intended to be used for that purpose.
Right.
I've known people, their testimony is the fact that they were a drug dealer. And then they tend to think, I got to put that, that's a part of me that's no longer, no. You know how to balance money. Business. Get on the deacon board. What are you talking about? I mean, this is what it was for. I mean, like, this was what all of this was for. Utilize what you learn. You just doing it the right way. I don't think that you should walk away from
it doesn't have to be
all of your experiences. Right.
It was all the experiences that led me up to, and it sounds crazy, but a lot of my turnaround came as a result of going to Evergreen. And it was crazy for me because up until that point, I didn't feel like I could be an actor. I thought I only could do that outside. I didn't feel like I could be an artist. I didn't feel like I could be a leader in the church because none of the things that I was naturally good at looked like something I could do in a building of church.
Wow.
And it was crazy because coming there doing the play, I was like, how this go, you know, I was nervous because I didn't know how that was. And then once I was given that authority to do that for the church, I still was nervous because what I naturally wanted to do spoke to the issues that were going on with the church and not so much just a thing that's going to make you smile and rejoice. So,
it's got to be put on the table.
Yeah.
Right. But I didn't know that.
Yeah,
and my first experience, they threw me out at the conference. And I really was thrown. Wow. Like, I didn't know that you could do that. Wow. You know, we had the bishop sitting behind us. Like, and I literally, on the stage, he was sitting behind us. And I didn't know that could be possible. I didn't know that you could be that connected to your passion. And your passion and your praise could be so intertwined, you know, and because the type of plays that I was doing, what it did do to me, I only now pick plays that speak to me on a deeper level. I'm not doing anything for the sake of putting something on my resume or doing something for $1 anymore because it just didn't make sense after that. Like, if I'm doing this, but I don't have to do Lord Have Mercy plays to make it, you know, make it through. So we're going to take another quick break. Coming up, we're going to talk about leadership. What these young ladies do best. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Don't forget, call in 410-702-5657 and you can pick their brains. They're going to sing a little bit later. They don't know it yet though. But we're going to speak it to existence. Willette, where's Miss Willette at? We'll be right back.
Yes,
don't go anywhere.
I can't.
This is Tyree Miles, also known as Mr. Miles the Writer on Instagram, Fly T Miles.
Hip Hop K, that's Hip Hop K-Zar. Hip Hop K on IG, hip_hop_K.
Oh look, we coming here with this new show called It Is What It Is, where we come with views, y'all.
And it's coming on every Friday, 9 to 11. Check us out.
Make sure y'all get with us. We'll be talking about any and everything, because it is what it is.
Ladies, are you in need of the best quality hair extensions, a cute outfit, or that perfect pair of shades? Pink Ice Products can cover you from head to toe, from flawless weaves to apparel. Visit us online at pinkiceproducts.bigcartel.com. We're located at 3000 Old Alabama Road, 119-303, Alpharetta, Georgia. Or give us a call at 470-488-6484. Come on in and check out Pink Ice Products today.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Monty from Talk Lately. I want y'all to sit back and listen to this flashback. We be tripping.
I mean, really, but I mean, he might have. I got him maybe jacking her up.
The kids said he did it.
But this is Floyd Mayweather punching her head repeatedly, and like she doesn't have like brain damage.
No, she didn't have brain damage. I don't think he was hitting her like that. Or he probably was like, say something else. Say something else.
That
he probably wasn't like tagging her.
Right.
He probably was just like, and the kids was like, Daddy.
Why do they have the accent? Why? Why do his kids have the accent?
I just pictured them looking like African. Oh. I didn't want to have to admit that. I don't know what they're going to do about my mouth, but just check out the show every Tuesday at 7 p.m. It's more of the same right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
Ladies, are you in need of the best quality hair extensions, a cute outfit, or that perfect pair of shades? Pink Ice Products can cover you from head to toe, from flawless weaves to apparel. Visit us online at pinkiceproducts.bigcartel.com. We're located at 3000 Old Alabama Road, 119-303, Alpharetta, Georgia. Or give us a call at 470-488-6484. Come on in and check out Pink Ice Products today.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back. A quick shout out to the people listening. Miss Shatisha Marvelous Cowser, one of my DC-ites, Cowser-ites. Miss Jimmy's Burtz. She's dope. She's watching in. Miss Darlene Kane, and of course Miss Lakeisha Lovedon is watching.
Of course I'm here.
But if you're watching on our Facebook Live, definitely share it out. You can definitely click on the lower left hand key and invite. Tell everybody about it. So today's topic is on leadership, and I wanted to, in a way, set the table and so you understand where these two ladies are coming from with their faith, and how important and central that is to everything else that they do. So in this segment, we're going to talk about leadership, and I'm going to talk a little bit with Cheryl first of all, because I know her to do this because we did the leadership training. How did that spawn everything else? That ability to be able to do that, or because I know that was attached to your work that you were doing at the time. So how did that then bring itself to your faith?
Yeah, so amazing. Pastor Travis, which is the wonderful woman of God that we've been referencing at Evergreen. She's no longer at Evergreen. She's retired, enjoying her retirement.
So the Pink House.
Yes, Pink House. Yes. But she was actually the first person who gave me an opportunity to do what was in my heart concerning leadership development. I sat down and shared with her that I wanted to do the gift survey to try to make sure that
I still have mine.
I love it.
With the spoon, because we had the spoon. Stir it up.
Yes. Stir up the gift. Yeah. So according to the house, because anytime I'm with any man or woman of God, my assignment is to strengthen and support the vision that God has given them. And so in that, I wanted to make sure that I was doing that specifically as I was at Evergreen. And so she was the first person. She said that I could bring the team together, do the training. She allowed me to do it offsite at the hotel. Do you remember that portion of it? And so that really launched the the physical manifestation of what had been nurtured in me at Kingdom Worship Center. And so I really combined what I did for a living with training to the church. And ever since then, I've been trying to make sure I'm intentional about leadership development, specifically geared towards purpose.
Did you take that test yourself first?
Yes.
So what did you get on the test?
Yes. So my primary gift is administration, secondary prophecy.
Okay. So give me... There's no algorithm to that exam. It's based on what you put into it.
Yes.
So give me the insight. So over the years, because you've done that multiple times since then, what are some of the expressions that you get from people when they realize maybe I'm not in my lane? Like how do you get people to go over to that? Because everybody ain't supposed to be the usher. Everybody's supposed to be the pastor.
That is not my call. I'm not going to do the usher at all.
Not going to be. Right. All right. So I think that one of the central themes over the years has number one been people saying, you know what, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times we're operating from an old paradigm. So I do what I do because someone told me that this will be good for me. Not necessarily that I do what I do based on what I feel on the inside, or I feel the Spirit of the Lord leading me to do, or based on my wiring. And so the first thing is normally people are like, that makes sense. And the second realization is normally, you know what, let me let go of this, or let me begin to transition. And that process takes partnership.
I don't even think I was ready for it, because I always thought, you know, I'll just do whatever else is needed. I'll fill in, you know, and I was doing things that I didn't necessarily need to do. And I think I got evangelism, and I kept saying, this ain't
not my calling.
This not what I'm doing. But I was, with your help and Pastor Travis, what I do as an actor is that. And we call things stuff, and we know what it looks like on somebody else, but it doesn't mean that's how it's going to fit you.
Yes.
And I didn't know what that. I was like, evangelism, so I got to go knock on people's doors? I'm like, that ain't what I do.
That's what people say.
Yeah.
But what's in you has the ability to manifest based on your sphere of influence, based on where God has called you to be.
Right.
Whether that's in ministry, whether that's in the marketplace, whatever mountain it is that you're called to.
Right.
When you come into purpose, it then gets colored through the lens of your assignment.
Right, right. And that was really, because when I first got it, I just took the paper. I was like, this that's not me. I mean, I think I was sitting in the back, and I just didn't even want to tell people what I got, because I didn't know how I would actually do that. Like, I got to go out on the streets and deal with people. I'm antisocial. How that's going to work out? Like, what is that going to do? I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
So it really, understanding what things mean and then defining it for your individual self is very important, because most people probably took the test and did that and say, well, this is what it told me to do and this is what I'm going to do, and then they sucked at it because that's not, it didn't fit you. You tried to put on somebody else's suit, so to speak. I'm learning. I'm definitely learning. I was listening. I told you I still have my spoon and everything. But Ms. Love Dawn, leadership to you.
What is leadership? Okay.
From your perspective.
Huge responsibility. I put, and I think that's where my fear come from, because when I left from my grandmother's church, because at that time I was only told that I was supposed to be doing the children and the music. That's what that was my lane that I had been in forever. I can do that in my sleep when it comes down to youth and music. When I left, I said, wherever I go, I'm not even going to tell anybody that I can sing. That's the first thing.
That's the first thing I think we all do.
I said, I'm not going to do it.
Try to hide out.
Because I don't want, it wasn't that I didn't want to do it. I just hated being limited to that.
Right.
Okay.
And I knew that there was, supposed to be more. And then I get there, and the next church that I go, they're pushing me in ministry. Now, I knew that was supposed to be where I was supposed to be. I knew that I was supposed to minister out, but it was kind of like, wait, I don't want to go all the way there. Let me just go ahead back to the singing and the kids, because I wanted to take baby steps. You can't just take that from me and then throw me over here, that type of thing. I tried the evangelism thing, and listen, this is what I did learn about leadership. There's levels to each assignment. So I can do the evangelism after. When you go out and get them, my job then is to comfort them in the space, not to bring them to the space.
But that's what the secondary part of it is.
Not my job.
See, I remember.
But I had to learn that, because my first lady, which she's good, and her sister, TK, they were good with going out there and like with clothes and food. I did do that because I was asked to come, but I'm the lady that's like, didn't they already take a bag of chips? Why she got 3? Like, her kids can't even fit that, And they're like, you should just let her have it. No,
you are not a part of the culinary ministry.
Why they need all that? They're going to go around the corner and sell it. Like, I mean, this is where I was. I'm just going to tell you the truth, so that's not for me.
Right.
So
and it's okay.
I know. I had to accept that. But what I will do, what you do is when you bring them into the church, and the uncomfortableness, my job then is to sit next to them and to comfort them in the space. I'll take that position.
I love it.
So learning that there's levels to one position does not mean all assignments in that position. That's the first thing. And the responsibility of leadership. As I said, where I was fighting with deciding to where I was going to go.
Yeah.
I think that's attached to the fact that because I was in leadership and they're astray, I don't feel comfortable going and planting myself somewhere, and I have people that's not right. It's like, I need to make sure you're good. I'm going to be good, but as long as you don't got nowhere to go, I'm just going to go ahead and hang with y'all. That type of things. I think with leadership, people tend to, I get that you have to worry about your own soul salvation, but when you have people following you and you have such a huge responsibility, you should not sleep. You should not be comfortable. You should not be able to go on knowing all of these people who are under you. When I say under you, it doesn't mean just pastor. If I'm in charge of the youth, if I'm in charge of the choir, if I'm in charge of anybody, then it's my responsibility to make sure that they're good before I lay my head. And that's the biggest thing that I think that what we need to learn as far as leadership. Don't take that job unless you're ready to take care of these kids. Period. So.
And then I remember taking that exam, and that was what was going on. Everybody was about to change, and everybody was being assigned, and that is in life in general, whether it's a work environment, whether it's church, do what it is that you're here to do, because anything else is going to be horrible for you and whoever has to partake in that. Customer service. If you're not good with people, you should not be the first face I see. Like, that should not happen. And we chase the finances over the passion, because the passion doesn't seem to pay me right now. So we keep choosing that finance because that's what's paying the bills. That's what's keeping the lights on. And I'll tell you, I've really learned a lot, because I fought it for almost 10 years when I first met you. And I think one day I had a breakdown in church. And because I remember the day, and it doesn't make me cry anymore, but I remember going through a lot. Like, it was just a lot. And we were having a meeting after service, and I remember, like, just asking a question. We were supposed to ask questions, and I asked a question, and I started crying in the midst of it, and everything was on my shoulders. And I think everybody around me, like, well, what is going on? I thought we was just having a church meeting, but something was on me, and it came out in that moment. I remember burning the head in the back of Brandy's head, like, if she just turned around, I'm gonna shut up. And she never turned around, so I just kept coming out. And I just remember not knowing what I was supposed to do, and I didn't know how to say it to people. And I was kind of ashamed, because I'm a guy, you know, people already expect certain things out of me because they look at me and they see certain things. And I knew that, and I was in church, and I realized none of these people were perfect. So I didn't want to tell my business. So it was all jumbled up. And I finally decided almost 8-9 years later what I was supposed to do. So it took me this long to really get myself in a space where I was comfortable with me and what I was here to be. And money aside, profit aside, I've really had to walk in what I was supposed to be. And I think being a leader, you have to strip yourself and not be afraid to rebuild the pieces and leave some of them parts to the side. Like, I might be missing some things, but I'll get that along the way in this journey, and I got to leave that behind, because that's not doing me any good, or they're not doing me any good, so on and so forth. But speak to somebody who's in that space of they have a natural calling in whatever their leadership is, but they don't see themselves being perfect enough, or blessed enough, or saved enough, or worthy enough for that leadership. Speak to that individual that may be in that space right now.
So anyone, if you are watching, if you're hearing, however you're having an opportunity to hear this moment, just don't, this was not by happenstance. I believe that we're on this topic because God wants to tell you now, right now, remind you that today is the day that you can start. It does not require you to have all of your I's dotted, all of your T's crossed, but now is the time. And I believe that as you take that step forward, And that step forward can be whatever you believe the next step is. 9 times out of 10, you have an idea of what it is that you need to do to get moving. 9 times out of 10, you've had a dream. 9 times out of 10, you have some type of vision. There's something that's connected to where you are. Today is the day to take that step. And I believe that once you take that initial step, that you will literally feel the wind of God behind your back, connecting you to the appropriate people, connecting you to the appropriate places, connecting you to the appropriate resources. Open your eyes and stop looking at yourself. So I'm going to say that again. Open your eyes and stop looking at yourself. Look ahead. Because I'm telling you, if you're listening to me, God has a great plan for your life. And everything that you believe that would disqualify you is the very thing that qualifies you for purpose.
And one of the important things that I learned, if somebody tells you what you're supposed to be, it should be the second time you heard it. It should be something you already felt.
Confirmation.
It should be confirmation. That's the word I'm looking for. It should be confirmation. Because a lot of people kept telling me when I was younger, I think because I was so quiet and I was so focused on my school, oh, he gonna be a pastor. I just see it in his life. And I remember going to Pastor Travis like, this ain't my life, so I need you to tell me and confirm that this ain't my life. And she couldn't, because she didn't hear anything. Nobody heard anything from me. And she said, if you haven't heard it, nobody can tell you what you're supposed to be. So you should feel it in yourself. Go ahead.
No.
The biggest thing for me is, I think when it comes down to doubt with your calling, I try to remind myself that my name is my name from birth. If I'm doing drugs, my name is my name. If I'm selling books, my name is my name. If I was on a corner, my name is still my name. You can't question who you are because of where you are.
That's good.
Your name remains the same.
Right.
So whoever God has called you to be, you can go down to Vital Records or wherever you're supposed to go to change it. You got to change it from something, meaning that wherever you go, it is still attached. You just don't go by it. Yeah. But the attachment will always be there. I promise you still have to keep both Social Security cards because you have to. It doesn't matter. Yeah. That is who you are. You cannot run from it. It will always be there. So if you take comfort in knowing that I had no part in naming myself, so I can't put how I feel or where I am in it because it's no place of mine. It was given to me. And that's not going to change regardless of where I go.
What were you about to say, Cheryl?
I was going to say I have probably mixed views on that when you talked about it has to be the second time that you've heard it. I believe that sometimes people can bring language to something that you may not have heard.
Right. Well, you didn't have language for yourself.
Well, you don't have an ear.
Yes. And so sometimes it may be new, but I believe that you can grow into it. And so even with people saying that you will be a pastor, it may not be in the traditional form, but you're leading people.
Right.
You're
that's
what covering people.
That's what began to unfold for me. It wasn't the traditional sense of what that meant. And we know things to mean this in the English language, but just like in the English language, this one word means 12 different things depending on how you use it. I think that then needs to be taught. Aside from knowing what your purpose is, how do you divide this? What does this mean for my personal life? Because you're telling me this, but what does it mean for me?
And that's why it's important to be connected. That's why it's important to be connected with someone who is graced to walk with you,
right,
and do life with you.
Is that a hard lesson? Like, how do you teach that?
How do you teach?
In terms of. Well, I'll say it this way. How do you teach purpose with defining it for the individual person? So when you're speaking to your congregation and they're hearing these things, is there a lesson that I have to have on my own? Or how does the pastor or how does the individual or leader teach that on an individual basis? It's just like being a teacher, but how do you teach for the different learning styles, so to speak?
For me, affirmation. Because if a person has a passion or calling to do a thing and they have doubt with their position, and you are the leader, the teacher, with constantly affirming them of what they're doing, teaching them the proper way. Because, I mean, most of the time, if you're doing it right, you feel good, and then you build confidence in wherever you are. in life. If you are confident and you're moving and you're excelling, but you're not happy, then you can see then that's not where you're supposed to be. If you're confident and you're moving and you're excelling and you are happy and you're content, then that's I think once they accept the position, I think our only job as a leader is to affirm and teach them how to develop whatever it is that they have. Once they accept it, the walk.
So we're gonna take another quick break because this is just about to roll down. So we're about to get into it, the juiciness of it. So we'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Shout out to everybody that's listening to Mill. Call in the next segment, 410-702-5657. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Monty from Talk Lately. I want y'all to sit back and listen to this flashback. We be tripping.
I mean, really, but I mean, he might have. I got him maybe jacking her up.
The kids said he did it.
But this is Floyd Mayweather punching her head repeatedly, and like she doesn't have like brain damage.
No, she didn't have brain damage. I don't think he was hitting her like that. Or he probably was like, say something else. Say something else.
That
he probably wasn't like tagging her.
Right.
He probably was just like, and the kids was like, Daddy.
Why do they have the accent? Why do his kids have the accent?
I just pictured them looking like Africans. Oh. I didn't want to have to admit that. I don't know what they're going to do about my mouth, but just check out the show every Tuesday at 7 p.m. It's more of the same right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey everybody, check out what you missed on the one and only Be Inspired Radio Show.
Focus on the word take for a moment.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I mean, when I begin to just, think about take. When you taking something, yes, we think about the possession and grabbing hold, but when you taking something on, you're capturing it, you're securing it, and you become impregnated with that.
Wow.
Tune in to Be Inspired every Wednesday, live 7 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
I said he's dead.
Oh, 6 years after he passed away.
It states she reportedly had heard rumors, but nothing substantial. But then you put the rumors to
while
death.
They were still married.
You sentenced the rumors to death.
While they still were married, she heard rumors.
Right. Or probably all her life she's heard rumors. Like you're dating, you're dating your dad, right? Y'all look just alike. I'm like, girl, somebody told me you dating your father. That's what kind of thing. He gay, right, Percy?
Please, why are you laughing at him? Don't laugh at him. Please don't.
Okay, let me continue with the story.
Oh,
man. Even today, it's still funny. Oh my gosh, if you haven't heard this show, it's Talk Lately, and it's only on BeExposedRadio.com every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and on YouTube. Just go to
Hey, what's up, good people? It's the man you all know and love, E. Digger. Make sure you check us out every Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on BeExposedRadio.com. Couple minutes left in the segment.
Sure.
Change is good.
Yes.
Knowing when to make that change in your life. And I think it's important that you know a strategy. You know where you need to go. But change is good. Everything don't stay the same.
Right.
And if you're a person, especially for old people, that can't accept change, then it's kind of hard. Right. I was going to a church. I'm gonna make this real brief. I was going to a church that could not, some older members I attended the second oldest black Presbyterian church in the country. That's one. And why are you laughing?
Yeah, it's bad that you even knew that.
And that's the soundbite. Yeah. So
thank you, Eric.
we would play certain music, and we implemented a lot of equipment or instruments like drums and piano, and the style of singing changed. And two people out of the congregation, after the service, they would go up to the pastor, sit down, and say, "Hey, sit down. Let me talk to you." And they will critique each song in the service every week, and it was change. It was evolution. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
And they could not begin to accept it. Like, they are used to the traditional hymn.
The Negro spiritual.
Yes. Not only that.
Check out what you missed on Be Exposed Radio.
So now we are in reactive mode. You know, with our young people, we don't spend enough time working with them, preparing them, inspiring them, mentoring them. And so now we're faced with a generation that's like, I'm going to do my own thing.
Right.
I have no respect for you. Because what have we done to help them except to say that, like I was telling the HL7, that, you know, I get highly upset when adults forget that they were ever young. And the first thing they say is young people are up to no good. You know, well, you're not helping them. What are you doing to inspire them? Right. So to me, that's reactive, because now that they're in the street cutting up, now you like, oh, we need to do something with our children, or we need to start schools earlier so we can get them off the street, or we need to do this. To me, that's reactive.
Tune in to Be Inspired every Wednesday live at 7 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
So the thing that you tell me that I'm not supposed to do, that's what I'm focused on.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show, here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. Today, we're talking about leadership. We built the foundation on our faith and what our purpose and our passion is. And I asked Cheryl during the break to give us kind of a mini lesson, if you will, from either one of your Facebook Lives. Because I'm going to tell you, for your Facebook Lives, I'm writing as you're talking. So when it comes time to type something, you go off, because I'm writing at the same time. So give moments for us to take notes before you can close it out. Okay. So give us kind of a synopsis of your teaching and leadership.
All right, so and we were talking about purpose, so I'll talk about purpose teaching. The first place I start with any of my leaders, any of the people that I have the privilege of serving in this season, is that I ask two questions. What are you passionate about, and what's your pain point? And so literally, and of course, that's after the spiritual gifts analysis. We start everyone with that so that they understand their wiring.
Right.
And the analysis includes not just where you could fit in the church, but also in the marketplace.
Okay.
Because we're not just raising up people who can function in church. You need to function outside of the four walls. So we do both. And so first question is, what's your passion? What brings you pain? Create that list. From there, we also do purpose partners. So other people who have a similar gifting, we connect them with them so that they have someone to walk through this journey of purpose
That's a good idea.
So that they have someone to walk through this journey of purpose with. One of the things that I was sharing as we were on our break is that it's not just enough for me, because as a pastor, I see potential. I see what I believe can be God's plan for your life in the future. Even though I have that information, my job is not to give that to you all at once, even though I will make sure that...
Well, I want it all at once.
Yeah.
This piece of paper.
Tell me what you say. So I plant seeds. I ask questions. And in that, because if you give someone the finished product without creating a space for them to grow and get there, it becomes I'm being what Pastor Cheryl said I was versus what I've encountered along in this purpose journey with God. And so my job is to pray you through, create structure, and teach, give you principles, but also to create a safe space for you to make that journey and for me to journey with you as you're coming into that place of purpose.
It makes so much sense because we naturally have instincts. And I remember, and I tell you, a lot of my life lessons were tied towards being and then leaving Evergreen. And that's just because I was at that age, break.
Yeah.
But it was a reason. Our pastor then went to another, she was called to go to another church. And in my heart, I wasn't supposed to go because I became too attached to the individual. In kind of a motherly and nurturing way, and that wasn't anything wrong with that. That's about our personal, our personal relationship. But as a spiritual, as my spiritual growth began to happen, I knew I had to separate myself because I was leaning too far on it. Because in the back of my mind, I said, "Well, what's going to happen when she retires? What am I going to do then? I can't just go out to our house every Sunday and be like, talk to me. Like that can't be possible." But what then happens? Like, how do you learn? And then you have to realize what you are growing too comfortable with. And I had to dissever those ties in a way that hurt me because it was like a Band-Aid ripping off at a point. But how do you then move forward with that? How do you rebuild after that after that point when you realize, okay, I'm out here naked and alone. How do I rebuild on that? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I can. A lot of times we have a tendency to think that every connection is lifelong versus seasonal. And so just as there are 4 seasons, sometimes your circle requires adjustment. I did a series, in a series now at church called Know Your Tribe, and birthing a movement called Circles Matter, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. But
I subscribed.
Yes, I love it. And so in that, your circles matter, and each season the characters may change, the destination, the place where you're at may change. However, we have to make sure that we are brave enough to take the journey, to make the adjustment. And that does not disqualify anything that fed you in the previous season. Because Pastor Travis is as fabulous today as she was in the past season. But the new season that you're in just required, just required another place. And so the big thing is to stay committed to the journey. Stay committed to the journey. Allow yourself to grow. Allow yourself to change. Because the reality is, and I talked about this when we referenced church hurt, the same God that kept you in the previous season is the same God that's able to transition you into the next season. And if we abandon seasons, the progression of seasons, we limit and stifle our maturity. Because just like your natural birthday, if you don't go through that process, you're not aging. And a lot of times we stay stuck in a season because it's familiar, and then we abandon or we give up the next thing that God has for us.
So you brought up seasons, and you kind of capsulized it really well. Speak to that in terms of leadership, in terms of rebuilding, in terms of just going from season to season. And every season is different for every person, so on and so forth. Give us kind of a synopsis of that. I don't want to capsulize everything, but give them a taste, and then they'll come to the
life
link.
Lessons, life lessons. Thursdays at 7 on Facebook Live.
There we go.
All right. So leadership. 3 things that are required for leadership: vision, connection, and mobilization. So 3 things that are required.
You fast. Vision.
For leadership: vision, connection, that's with people, and mobilization, that's the ability to move the vision forward with the people. And so those are the 3 things required for leadership. And in that, for every season that you find yourself in as a leader, and that if you find the people that you're leading in, there's a new strategy. And so the dangerous thing is coming into a new season with an old strategy, because you have the ability to blow up everyone that's following you.
Well, how do you know that? Like, how do you know your strategy is off?
So Bishop Dennis taught me this when I was 16. I feel like I've said this twice this week, but there's grace for every assignment. When you are in that place where you're the lane that you're supposed to be in, I'll say it that way, there is a supernatural fuel that comes to the task that you're assigned to. And you get the idea that the season may be shifting when the strategy is running dry.
Okay.
Where the grace is lifted off of what you're doing, and it starts to be frustrating.
Yeah. But is that the mission itself, or is it the same if it's people around that mission? Does that mean it's running its course? Because
I think it can be two things.
Okay.
It can be making sure that you adjust the people and the positions, because it's important to have the right people in the chairs on the bus. Right? So it can be a people strategy, or it can be just a vision implementation strategy.
Okay.
Because time is progressing, the congregation is growing, the project is growing, so now the radio station is growing. So I can't use the same strategy that I used last year because there's new potential here.
Okay. I'm listening. It's coming in.
And so with growth, you may have to make adjustment with people as well, because different people have different gifts. And so in order to make sure that everybody is good, because if you have a person in the wrong seat in the wrong season, you bring frustration to them and to yourself. And so everybody's mad. When it's really not personal, it's progression.
Keep going.
And so in that process, a leader is in a place where they can see further.
Right.
Where they can see the people that they're leading, and they can forecast, meaning that they can make adjustments so that you're prepared for what's coming next. And so that's the vision, the people management, and then making sure that everyone is progressing and that the goals are being met along the way.
And you're speaking in terms of the leadership making those decisions. So when you're in that season of you weren't the leader and you need to be going that direction, how do you get into that posture that you are a leader, or how do you what qualities or what things do you need to line up or do or have in place to be that significant and that strong leader?
I think it's paying attention to the lessons as they come. That's secondary. Let me tell you, I can just speak for me. I believe that God can bring you into a place of being in your own land after you're faithful to someone else's vision. For years, I have served the men and women of God that I have had the distinct pleasure to be connected to, and their vision is my vision. So anything that's on the inside of me, any gift, any talent, any wisdom, my money, my time, my talent, whatever it is that I have, I submit to what God has called them to do, and I champion it as if God had given it to me himself.
So when this was put on your table, Cheryl, you in charge now. What was that?
I didn't realize what had happened at first. And so
but were you prepared for it?
Yeah, because of service. And that's not a fleshly statement. I'm not sitting here saying that I know everything, but as a result of serving well, when you serve well, you get exposed to teaching. When you serve well, you get exposed to experience. When you serve well, you get exposed to strategy. And all of those things never exist in a place and just exist there. You should be a sponge, soaking up everything that's on the table. And in that exposure, you need to practice the principles and master them. So when it comes time for you to duplicate it, it's real and not you saying, try this, I saw it somewhere.
And it's going to sound strange how I say this because it just popped in my head this way. How important was your ear versus your mouth versus your heart?
That's good. So ear, how important is your ear? You have to be able to hear God and man. Your heart has to be sensitive enough to the tug and the pulling to hear if God is saying yes or no. If he's saying go or wait. If he's saying, how can I say this? If he's saying this is you or me. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you said your heart, your ear, and
your mind.
And your mind. And so listen, a lot of times and I know we've been talking about church, but in church we separate thought, strategy from action because we over spiritualize.
Feeling.
Yeah, no. Now listen, the Holy Spirit does fall down for there to be an unction, right? But he is also resting on the inside of you for you to think. the reality is that if the Holy Spirit is resting on the inside of us, that we are like the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States of America. We have inside information. And so being able to open up your mind and to think through stages, to think through relationships, to think through, does this make sense for my family in this season? Can I make this happen? There has to be a marriage between your ear being sensitive enough to hear, your heart being able to discern, and your mind being able to add thought and intelligence to your transition or to the opportunity that's in front of you.
Why weren't you here 3 years ago? But nevertheless, you're here now, and it really speaks to millennials in this moment, because I think this generation, we've been pushed out there. We didn't have a choice but to make it work or sink or swim. And a lot of us are finding our way in the wrong lanes, and we're in the wrong space. And speak to those individuals that are in the wrong lane, doing the wrong things, but looking for the right outcome or the right goal.
So, mistakes are preparation. And so despise not the day of small beginnings. Despise not the days where it didn't work. Despise not the days where it looked funny. And so you literally, and I know I said it earlier, you can make a decision tomorrow to start fresh. Don't think that you've wasted anything. There is no time, experience, investment that gets wasted into the kingdom. God literally takes all of it and he uses it as fuel to set you up once you get into the right place. Now, what I will say about that is that it's important for you to put thought to where you are. It's important for you to intentionally begin to pursue purpose. It's important for you to intentionally be able to pursue the communities that you need. Right. In order to be able to be surrounded with people that will support where you want to go. So the first thing I would say is that you might want to do an evaluation on your circle. Because if everyone around you is supporting this false place in your life, it might be time for a transplant. And so that's probably the first consideration. After that, so after you're identifying that, you know what, there are some things that need to change. There are some realignments that have to take place. And I always joke because, like, I'm the alignment specialist. Because if something is not right, let's sit down, let's have the discussion, and then let's get in line. Because the reality is that people get afraid to say I'm wrong. Because of the stigma that comes with it. Or people get afraid to say that my time has expired here. Because of the stigma.
So pause for a second.
Yes, sir.
Because you're in my backyard. I stayed too long at the party, and just throwing out cliches. And for me, my passion is in it. I'll speak from past tense. My passion was in it. I really... That's what I was supposed to do. I'm an actor. You know, I'm in a theater company. I don't have to go out and audition. At what point do you tell somebody it's enough? Like, you are not winning in this. Real quick, we have a phone call. Hello, caller. Thanks for calling the Artist Exchange.
What's going on? How you doing, Nate? This is Tamil Robinson from TRG.
Hey, Mr. Tamil, he's an international designer calling my little show. How's it going, sir? You have a question for one of our guests?
Well, first of all, I would never say your show is a little show. I think the grassroots of everything is a big thing in the involvement, and I really appreciate your show as opposed to doing a big show, because you're touching the people from the ground level. And like I said, when I was on your show, I'm first generation everything in what I do. And I was listening to the young lady speak, and I just kind of like, perused in. I got your message. I was just on another conference call at the time. But when I jumped in and heard her speak, I agreed with a lot of things she was saying spiritually, because my father-in-law is a pastor of a church. So I kind of, I could definitely vibe with her as far as what she's saying. But in light of all of that, a lot of what she's saying and what I hear from her, you have to get people in one accord. And what I mean by one accord, everybody has to have some type of involvement in a cause and effect. What she's saying is the cause. The effect is you have to be able to have people rise up out of what they want to be and what they want to do. Like, for instance, I've traveled the world. Everybody from T.O. to Tom Brady wore my uniforms. You wouldn't know that. So like I said, I'm explaining that. But at the end of the day, I have to take that. I have to take those achievements and pass it on to the next person. And how I do that is I'm trying to do something in Black America that's going to create something for the next person. So I have to leave a sort of legacy. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is something she's saying spiritually. What I'm trying to do is something, and it's economical for people to start doing something to better themselves. Because if you can't bring that economic equivalency to the people that you're trying to reach, sometimes it may be hard for them to get that extra self-esteem spiritually. So like I said, I agree with everything she's saying. Like, she's hitting it dead on. But at the end of the day, when I travel different countries, and I'm saying this for a reason, you're seeing one people, and they're doing stuff to uplift themselves. We so broken up as Black America. We're so broken up into this congregation and this congregation and this. Yeah, it's so broken up. I get to travel and see unity everywhere I go in every country. And to be honest, like I said, I agree with everything she's saying, and no disrespect. What I'm trying to do is uplift us economically to gain things so we can have that spiritual confidence and pass it on. Because at the end of the day, even with the congregations, you need financial obligations to keep those things going. And we have to address that situation, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, to make sure all of the inner cities across America is going to have that equal opportunity to do something so they can financially help their communities, so they can help sow into the churches that gave them the spiritual guidance that this young lady is talking about. Because if that's not there, you're gonna fall back into a rut. And I've seen a lot of people do that. I myself am very strong. I'm a strong individual. I do believe that God gave me a gift to travel the world, to travel and do all of these things. But at the end of the day, if I can't pass that on, I fail. You understand? You have to be able to pass that on, and that comes with building economics within the communities. You have to be able to do that. You have to open up some doors. It's good to give people self-esteem and give them the rah-rah speech and yada yada. It's good for all of that. But if that's not getting them to where they want to be financially, so they can make things happen, so they can sow back in, so they can pass it to the next, then we are failing.
Can I? Thank you so much for calling in. One of the things that is the natural side of what it is that I'm personally called to do and that we're doing as a congregation is that we are doing just that. When I talk about purpose, it's not just confined to the four walls of the church. We are intentional about marketplace as well. And so in our congregation, one of the things that I've actually instituted over the last few weeks is called the Christian Business Institute, so that we are talking about how to create a business plan, how to do a value proposition, how to take the ideas, the gifts and the talents that you have and turn it into finances. And just because we have been focusing on purpose over the last year and a half, the businesses in our church have exploded. They've had to hire people to do things that they were doing because they're at a place now where they can take their hands off the day-to-day operations. And so I agree with you 110%. Ministry is not just within the four walls of the church, but it's also marketplace. And that is definitely, I may not have spoken a lot about it, but I'm right there with you.
That's the next show.
Yeah, because you have to marry the two. because purpose is not just about an experience on Sunday morning. It's about how do I show up in my family, how do I show up in my community, how do I show up in the marketplace on every mountain, so religion, business, government, media, arts and entertainment. How do I maximize and dominate those spheres of influence that I am assigned to and generate income, and not just income to have in my pocket, but legacy. For that.
And I just wanted to, like I said, I caught in, maybe I missed, a proportion of it. But like I said, for me, when I was listening to it, and Nate knows me very well. We've had, meetings, I came on the radio show, we had talks, and I try to chime in every time. I think what he's doing is great. It actually, what he's doing, spreading those airwaves, those things go all over the world. Like everybody's listening to this, even though you don't know it. But people are tuning in. So if you could catch the ears of these people tuning in, you got to let them know right off the bat. Like I said, for me, I've lived in other countries in the whole nine, and I've had people visit me from other countries, and the first thing they're saying, Tamil, why are people not coming over here doing business with us direct? Your people always doing, have the styles, you have this, you have that. Why? So if I'm getting that from other races, and people that I call family, when I'm over in another country and I get to sleep in their big houses and on their yachts and things like that, and Nate knows, I'm not sitting up here just saying things just to be saying it. I'm saying it because I lived it. So, that to me, I have a problem with that. That means I'm not educating my people when I get back here and saying, look, we have to do something about this because there are people that want to do something with us globally, and I want to bring that to the forefront, and I'm willing to bring that to the forefront because I know it's true, because I sit with these folks. So at the end of the day, the huddle is at your church, say, for instance. Like, let's pick your church for an example. That's the huddle. That's the coach speech. Okay, guys, let's get out here in this game. Let's take it globally, and let's do this. You do that. You do this. You're good at this. You stay in your lane and do that. If you get to coach everybody at their talent and their specialty, and then they can bring it back into one accord, and then you can spread that, then that's how that's going to work. You have to be able to uplift all of the inner cities communities, because I'm telling you, right now, and this is a fact. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. All the big brands right now are milking the heck out of the inner cities. I'm talking the biggest brands you can name. Everything is street-driven this. Everything is street-driven that. You got shirts and T-shirts for $550, hoodies for $1,200. And I know fabric because I make fabric, So from what I'm saying is, if we're out there spending that kind of money, okay, and these kids are out here doing that and they're getting misled, you have to be able to teach them what this is about so they can start supporting our own brand. This is the issue here. The issue is supporting us. It's not what you're saying. What you're saying is right. But the issue is you have to get them to support us. And if you can't do that, and I've been in corporate, and to a certain extent still in, because at the end of the day, I still get to deal with these people. But at the end of the day, if I can't champion something and say, hey, listen, my people got to get carved out something. It just can't be for basketball. It can't be for football. Everybody's not going to get the LeBron deals. Everybody's not going to get the Jordan deals like that. That's far and few in between. I'm talking about people that have a talent in the inner city that we can create jobs. We can open up factories. We can do this. There's so many more out there that can do that. To me, it's real important because that's driving the economic equivalency in Black America. And that's the issue here.
Thank you, sir, for calling in and always giving your advice. I appreciate you always just supporting the show.
Definitely. I have no problem with that. Like I said, your show is grassroots, just like every other show like that is grassroots. And if you can't start from, for me, I'm like the Tupac of the industry. I'm going to tell it like it is. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? So, because at the end of the day, you're not going to stop me from what I'm doing. So if she's saying that and I agree with it, at the end of the day, it got to cash in. It can't just be talk. It got to straight cash in. And that's what I'm doing.
Thank you, sir.
Celebrate your success.
All right.
So that was Mr. Tamil Robinson. I'm going to go back right over to Miss Love Dawn and Nivea. We're going to do a book club, and this is going to be my first book. One, because I see this book being something active, like a web series, because they are so prevalent now, and it's the easiest platform to be able to get your voice heard without all of the politics. But I saw not so much that I saw your character being a superhero, but it gave me the type of superhero that isn't so cartoonish,
right?
And it's one of those Clark Kent stories where it was a backstory and it came to the future, and then you can do so much with it. But I saw episodes and reading it, just how you discovered your power, and why did you use your name, or why did you give her your name?
I used my name because it was a representation of me. Because I started it with my children, and my children were supposed to be the lights. Just to coincide, if I don't know if we have enough time, but a lot of what you said, the two things you said you need to have was purpose and pain, passion and pain. Yeah. Both of which is in the first chapter of this book, and that's what she developed her powers on. First thing was the passion. She was already a person who had a heart for others.
Right.
Before powers, before pain, she had a heart for other people. So that was her passion. The pain is what drove her passion.
Drove her to her passion.
Right. So it took it to another level. So she was already actively doing or walking in her calling before she was imparted in with the gift. So I'm saying that it mirrors what you're saying as far as leadership. And if you look at the relationship between her and the light, the angel, as I believe is what I refer to him as. You look at the relationship. This is now a leader training her on the job, and what with this story, she was focused on one job because that's what she thought was her main purpose, was to cover the world basically, but that was not her sole purpose. Then she was given the more important task of, now I've imparted, now you have to impart. And that's the part of leadership that becomes tricky. Because I thought I was just supposed to lead, and when a leader does, they turn and they walk. My job is just to walk.
Right.
But that's not always the case, because now I have to teach you how to walk while learning to walk at the same time. I can only teach you today what I learned yesterday. Basically, with a lot of that. So it mirrors what you say, and that's what for me, when it comes down to that, I use my name because I'm actually doing that. Like, I mean, I had a task, I had a job, I had to do this, but then I had children. So now I have to learn how to be the respectable person, woman in the community, and teach you at the same time. And you think that your parents know it all? No, I just learned. Right. And I have to now teach you that. So this is.
So there will be a part 2, because I'm going to figure out how to get these two young ladies together and talk over this book, because I want Cheryl to read this and get what I got from it, and then we're going to talk after this and maybe go after show. You never know. But thank you immensely. And we... Just say hello real quick.
Yes, Jessica.
She's come to the show before. Just say hello real quick, because we're about to go off the air before they record. But Jessica was here before with what was the young lady's name with you? There we go.
The Makeover.
And this is the church that they were talking about.
Yes.
So we're gonna go, because we're eating into It Is What It Is radio show's time. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
I love you immensely. I don't say that word lightly. But
too.
thank you coming. And I'm gonna definitely figure out how we're gonna get these two back on soon.
Let's do it.
It Is What It Is radio show coming up next. Don't forget tomorrow, 12 p.m. we got Miss Be Inspired. We got TJ Transvision and 3 phenomenal visual artists. They're gonna come in here and showcase what it is that they do. Shout out Fashion Week. Airframe, all that.
Right.
The Artist Exchange radio show only on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Close your eyes and just sleep tight. Lie awake and watch to be sure what that all your dreams of you.
I've been dreaming about a lot. I had a dream that they never killed Pop. I had a dream Biggie never got shot. I had a dream Aaliyah plane never dropped. Man, I had a dream we didn't get killed by cops. Innocent babies never killed on the block. I had a dream that we all went to college. We all were scholars. We all earned top dollars. Man, I had a dream I was selling out shows instead of selling O's. Then I had a dream I sold the devil my soul.
Then I had a dream I sold the devil my soul.
Shit is out of control. I'ma get it and go. Letting these niggas know. Dreaming about the sky but waking up on the floor. I wake them up with the flow. Cause niggas been sleep on the low. A nigga been a beast from the go. I've been dreaming about the millions. Pushing the coupe with the ceiling gone. Yeah, getting my mama out of place. Put her up in the estates. That's the shit that I'm really on. Yeah, I've been dreaming that the world felt. Man, I had a dream like Martin Luther King. Man, I had a dream that I was really the king. And on top of that, Sanaa Lathan was queen. Goddamn these dreams. These dreams when they come and go. I mean, some of these nightmares you wouldn't wanna know. I mean, this type of shit you couldn't stomach though. I mean, shit, I had a dream that I poured a Minaj. Think it was Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Now I don't even lust over neither. Cause these bitches, I don't need them. I just fuck them, I don't love them. All feed them, goddamn these dreams. I've been dreaming about my nigga Easy. I've been dreaming my nigga B was still breathing. I was dreaming they showed love for real reasons. I've been dreaming about the times when the block wasn't hot. And I was ducking cops with a sock full of rocks. I was ducking cops with a pocket full of guap. So addicted to the game I didn't think I'd ever stop. But then came jail. Had a nigga dreaming about the freedom. Everybody say they visit but you never see them. Same girl you shitted on, now you really need them. Think shit's kinda funny how the tables turn. How you gotta hit rock bottom for your ass learn. How you taking shit for granted when the cash burn. Death around the corner, nigga, this could be your last term. Yeah, President Obama on his last term. And I know you see that Trump running, a nigga Trump bugging. And if you can support that, you can suck something. I'm about to lock the game down like I'm a cuff something. I've been dreaming that the world gon' change. Hate would disappear, the love will remain. But no matter what, shit stays the same. And if you can't win, why even play the game, I've been dreaming that we all was equal. Regardless of color, we all was people. We all was one. We all go to the same place when it's done. I always lay in the sun in these dreams.
Thank you for tuning in to BeExposedRadio.com. Sit back, relax, and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
What does hustle hard mean to you? What does that signify in your life?
That's a lifestyle for me. You know what I mean? Like, true story, I was born into a family in a community of hustlers. Now, let's get focused right quick. Because when people hear the word hustler, they confuse it with con artist or something negative. So they like to call people entrepreneurs, right? But the definition, and I'm paraphrasing, but the definition of hustle is forced movement or to be hurried, right? But we're not talking about just pushing other people. Sometimes you got to push yourself, and that what makes you a hustler. True story. So the thing about it is, like, when it comes to hustling, listen, quick story. I used to go buy juleps a lot, right? And my grandmother used to make me clean the yard, shovel snow, do things like that to go get a julep. But one day she was like, look, you putting all your money in someone else's pocket. Word. Save those quarters, and I can teach you how to make a formula, and you can sell your own juleps. You understand? So the next couple weeks, I saved my money.
Always a hustler.
Listen,
got to love
but think
everybody
about
got
this.
a grandma story like that.
Grandmothers are the natural hustlers because they were the ones who maintained and sustained our families through epidemics. You're talking Big Mama went through slavery and held it. You're talking Big Mama went through the Depression and held it. Big Mama went through crack and held it and still maintains it today. So if you don't think you come from a hustler, then you don't know where you come from. You understand?
That's so real.
I began to sell juleps, and ever since then, I capture a hustle, and a hustle is not a swindle. It's not a sneaky thing. It's up front. You're providing a need. You understand? So you're the bridge. If you're a true hustler, you're trying to be the bridge. If somebody's on one side and they need to get the other, you're trying to be the bridge, fill in the gap. So hustling is a lifestyle. It's not something you can do 10 minutes out the day. It has to be something you live.
Word. Hey, what's up? This is Nate, host of the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Tune in every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live, here live on BeExposedRadio.com.
Check out what you missed on Be Exposed Radio.
Listen to Elizabeth Warren talking about Black lives and Black life.
Police are not occupying armies. This is America, not a war zone. I speak today with full knowledge that I have not personally experienced and can never truly understand the fear, the oppression, and the pain that confronts African Americans.